Uncle Gus here. It was back in 2003 when I tried to come up with something that might be a little different over Thanksgiving. My nephew Kirby and family was coming to visit, and we decided to do something called the Extreme Challenge. I've heard it's become pretty popular since then. I think it's happened maybe, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 times. And I would say it's probably become the best 2-day event known to mankind. Better even than the World Series. What? Oh, yeah, the World Series could be 7 days. Better than the Masters Golf Tournament. Oh, you're right, that could be 4. It's really the best 2-day event. Maybe second only to the 1965 Ryder Invitational Basketball Tournament. Won by Ryder, of course. Well, anyway, back to the challenge. People tend to think that the key to this whole challenge thing is having the right events. You need something a little athletic, but balanced with something brainy. You probably need something for the older folk, something from the younger folk, something a little high-tech, something basic pencil and paper. And of course, the main thing is you want to be fair. You don't want to design some event that takes advantage of people with handicaps. For example, you wouldn't have an event where you would take some pudgy 66-year-old and make him play pickleball or ride a horse or do something like that. So you get the idea. But I'm not focusing on the event today. What I'd like to focus on is what you really need to get the whole games idea going. And that is an appropriate toast. Ever since the very first Mueller Games in 2003, we have had a toast that sort of set things off. Let me tell you something about it. Back in 1991, my brother Don Mueller came to Thanksgiving at my house. I had just built a new place in Fort Collins, Colorado. To give you the significance of this, I had left home, got married when I was 21, had been away from home to this point where I was now about 45, and this was only the second time that Don had ever visited me, Thanksgiving or otherwise. So this was a really big deal for me. Not that we didn't get along, but I typically went to North Dakota to visit him. So I wanted to make this to be a special event for him. I knew he was a whiskey drinker. I didn't have too good of a whiskey supply at my bar, so I went down to the neighborhood liquor store and bought up the best whiskeys I could find. Crown Royal, I think there was a Country Club in those days, all really good whiskey, so that he could enjoy himself during the 4 days he was there. Well, the first afternoon, I had to run down to my office for a while, and somehow he snuck out of the house. And when I came back, what was sitting on the kitchen counter? A bottle of black velvet. He had ran down to the liquor store and got himself a jug of black velvet, despite all the fine liquors that I had provided for him for the weekend. Well, he had some of that black velvet over the weekend, several, I'm thinking, but when he left, the jug was half empty, or half full, depending on how you think of it. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to save that jug in memory of the great times I had with my brother Don, who that was the last Thanksgiving that I had with him as he passed away about 8 years later or so. So here we are now to 2003, and I have what I think is a pretty brilliant idea, and that is to get the game started. We have a toast to Don. And what I did is I brought out that bottle and we poured everybody there, probably even a young Kip Mueller, a shot or half a shot of good old black velvet, and we toasted our brother, father, grandfather to get the games going. So what I'm saying here is I think you all need a toast. You need a toast, something important. It could be an historic bottle, or start your own bottle, start your own tradition, where you start things off in remembrance of somebody, hopefully somebody who enjoyed drinking, or it really wouldn't be much fun. So, that's my story. That's my story, and I think it's pretty important. But, oh, wait a minute. I just happen to have that bottle of good old black velvet here in front of me. It used to be filled up to about here. We've taken it down to, a couple ounces left, and to the point now, actually, where everybody doesn't have a toast. We just designate one person to have a toast. Since I won't be able to join you all for Thanksgiving, I think I'm going to designate myself. And I think I'm going to have a toast right now. Let's see if it's as good as it was back in 1991. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Let the games begin.